At 80 years old, Goldie Hawn isn't interested in pretending anymore. Not about Hollywood, not about relationships, and certainly not about how she wants to be remembered. While many stars avoid conversations about death, Goldie has approached it with a surprising mix of honesty, peace, and clarity, and what she's revealed has quietly caught people off guard. For decades, Goldie has been seen as the eternal optimist of Hollywood. The laugh, the lightness, the infectious warmth that made her one of the most beloved figures in film. From romantic comedies to award-winning performances, she built a career on joy. But behind that smile is a woman who has spent years reflecting deeply on life, spirituality, and what truly matters when everything else falls away. As she's grown older, Goldie has become more intentional about who has access to her time, her energy, and her inner world. That intention doesn't disappear at the end of life. In fact, it becomes sharper. Recently, she spoke openly about something most people never discuss aloud: who she doesn't want present at her funeral. It's not about anger. It's not about revenge. And it's definitely not about drama. According to Goldie, it's about authenticity, about not allowing performative grief, forced appearances, or people who weren't truly part of her life to suddenly claim space at the most personal moment of all. She's learned through decades in the industry that not every smile is genuine, and not every goodbye is earned. At 80, Goldie believes presence should mean something. If someone wasn't there during the quiet moments, the hard seasons, or the real version of her life, she doesn't believe they should suddenly appear for the final curtain. Her thoughts on this aren't dark or bitter. They're peaceful, thoughtful, grounded, and for many fans, unexpectedly relatable. Because beneath the Hollywood legacy and public love is a woman who simply wants truth, even in death. And once you hear who Goldie Hawn doesn't want at her funeral, you start to understand how clearly she sees life now, and how little tolerance she has left for anything that isn't real. Goldie Hawn has lived several lifetimes within one. By the time she turned 80, she wasn't just reflecting on a long career, she was reflecting on a full spectrum of human experience: joy, heartbreak, reinvention, and survival. The cheerful image the world associates with her has always been real, but it was never the whole story. Long before she became a Hollywood icon, Goldie learned something essential about life: happiness isn't automatic. It's cultivated. Growing up in a disciplined household, she was trained as a dancer, taught to strive for perfection, and introduced early to the pressure of performance. Those foundations shaped her resilience but also embedded a deep awareness of emotional reality. Smiles, she learned early on, could be practiced. Authenticity had to be chosen. As fame arrived, it came fast. Laughter followed her everywhere, and audiences embraced her as a symbol of lightness and fun. But behind the scenes, the industry was less gentle. Hollywood relationships were often transactional, supportive only when success aligned. Goldie quickly noticed how people appeared during wins and vanished during uncertainty. That realization stayed with her. Her personal relationships reflected that contrast. Goldie loved deeply, sometimes painfully. Marriages, breakups, and public scrutiny taught her that connection cannot survive without honesty and emotional presence. Moments of loneliness, even at the height of fame, forced her to confront how fragile relationships can be when built on convenience instead of care. Motherhood changed her profoundly. Raising children while navigating a public life brought clarity about boundaries, priorities, and protection. Goldie became fiercely intentional about the people she allowed close. Not because she distrusted the world, but because she understood the cost of emotional leakage. Energy matters. Presence matters. And not everyone deserves access. As she grew older, spirituality entered her life not as a trend, but as a grounding force. Meditation, mindfulness, and self-awareness reshaped how she viewed suffering, ego, and attachment. Goldie stopped seeking external validation and focused inward instead. In doing so, she gained something rare in Hollywood: peace without blindness. With peace came discernment. She learned the difference between fame-driven affection and real love, between public praise and private loyalty, between performative support and genuine care. This wasn't cynicism. It was clarity. By 80, Goldie no longer measured relationships by longevity or visibility, but by truth. Who showed up when nothing could be gained? Who remained when applause faded? who respected her boundaries without being asked. These questions now guide how she views life and how she imagines its end. When Goldie speaks about her funeral, she's not fixated on rituals or ceremonies. She's thinking about energy, about sincerity, about allowing only those who truly knew her to be present in her final moment of remembrance. For her, a goodbye should reflect life, not performance. This in her story isn't about exclusion. It's about alignment. Goldie Hawn has spent her life learning what's real and what isn't, and at 80, she has no interest in confusing the two anymore. Goldie Hawn's decision about who she doesn't want at her funeral has nothing to do with anger, grudges, or unresolved drama. In fact, the clarity behind it comes from the opposite place: acceptance. At 80, she isn't closing doors out of pain. She's narrowing the circle out of truth. Over the years, Goldie has watched how moments of death transform people. She's seen how grief can become performative, how absence during life is sometimes followed by sudden visibility at the end. That pattern didn't make her resentful. It made her thoughtful. She began to ask herself a simple question: who is this moment really for? For Goldie, a funeral isn't a stage. It's not a reunion, a networking opportunity, or a moment of public alignment. It's the final reflection of a private life. That belief shaped her perspective on who belongs there and who doesn't. She has spoken gently, but firmly about not wanting people who were never truly present in her life to appear out of obligation, curiosity, or optics. This includes industry acquaintances who shared red carpets but not real connection, individuals who disappeared during quiet or difficult periods, and those who only surfaced when attention or relevance was involved. Goldie doesn't believe in symbolic support. She believes in live support. If someone didn't know her outside the spotlight, didn't engage with her humanity, her parenting, her spiritual journey, or her emotional growth, then, in her view, attending her funeral would feel hollow. Importantly, this isn't personal judgment. Goldie acknowledges that people live busy lives, grow apart, or change directions. Her decision isn't about blame, it's about alignment. The end of life, she believes, deserves the same intentionality as the rest of life. She's also expressed discomfort with public grief from people who never shared private closeness. Applause, she feels, belongs to performances, not to endings. Death, in her eyes, calls for stillness, honesty, and humility. Loud displays of sadness from distant figures can distort the moment and shift attention away from those who truly shared the journey. One of the strongest influences on her thinking has been family. Goldie prioritizes those who shared real moments, raising children, sustaining partnerships, supporting mental health, navigating aging. These experiences create bonds that don't require an audience. For her, those bonds matter most at the end. Another factor behind her decision is spiritual respect. Goldie views death not as loss, but as transition. She believes surrounding oneself with genuine energy, people who bring calm, gratitude, and love, matters deeply. She doesn't want unresolved tension, performative mourning, or emotional noise present in that space. Perhaps most striking is how little ego plays into her thinking. Goldie isn't concerned with how many people show up or who notices. She isn't trying to control her image posthumously. In fact, she's letting go of it. Her choice ultimately reflects how she lives now, with boundaries, honesty, and peace. She invites everyone to live fully while they're alive. Not wait until the end to express care or recognition. At 80, Goldie Hawn isn't excluding anyone out of bitterness. She's simply choosing authenticity over appearance, even in death. Goldie Hawn, known for her effervescent smile and iconic roles in Hollywood, has always been candid about her personal life and values. At 80, she has reached a point where reflection and clarity guide her decisions, including the deeply personal matter of her own funeral. In recent interviews, Hawn revealed who she does not want at the ceremony, sparking curiosity and conversation among fans and the media. This explores the reasoning behind her choice, the principles it reflects, and the broader context of her relationships. For Hawn, the decision is not about creating controversy or making headlines. It's about preserving the integrity and emotional comfort of her final farewell. Over decades in the public eye, she has encountered individuals whose intentions, behaviors, or attitudes have conflicted with her values. While she has been generous, forgiving, and supportive throughout her life, she believes that certain people would not contribute positively to the atmosphere she envisions for her memorial. Alan's choice emphasizes authenticity over appearances, a desire for a farewell surrounded by love, respect, and genuine connection rather than obligation or social expectation. This decision also reflects Alan's understanding of her legacy and the energy she wants to leave behind. She is a woman who has dedicated her life to art, philanthropy, and meaningful relationships. Her funeral, she insists, should honor those connections rather than highlight past conflicts or tensions. By clearly defining who should be excluded, Hawn demonstrates a self-awareness that transcends ego. She is prioritizing emotional harmony over societal norms or external pressures. Family, friends, and longtime collaborators have long understood that Hawn values honesty and authenticity. Her decision is consistent with the principles she has modeled throughout her life. While she welcomes those who genuinely cherish her and her work, she has made it clear that those who may bring negativity, insincerity, or conflict into the setting will not be part of the ceremony. This level of transparency is rare in Hollywood, where image management often dominates, and it underscores Alan's commitment to living and ending life on her own terms. Fans and observers have responded with admiration and understanding. Many recognize that Alan's choices reflect her dedication to meaningful relationships and her refusal to allow superficial obligations to dictate personal milestones. Her honesty about such a private matter serves as a reminder that even celebrities, often scrutinized for every decision, have the right to boundaries and to curate experiences that reflect their values. Highlights the profound self-awareness and courage that define Goldie Hawn. At 80, she has not only achieved remarkable success in her career, but has also cultivated clarity about the people, values, and relationships that truly matter. Her decision regarding her funeral is emblematic of a life lived intentionally, demonstrating that the choices we make in our final moments can be as defining as those made during our prime. Ultimately, Alan's revelation about who she does not want at her funeral is less about exclusion and more about ensuring that the ceremony reflects the love, integrity, and authenticity that have always guided her life. It is a choice that resonates deeply, offering a glimpse into the wisdom, boundaries, and values of a woman who has navigated Hollywood with grace, humor, and unwavering self-respect. As Goldie Hawn reflects on her life at 80, she is focused on the legacy she wishes to leave behind and the farewell she envisions for herself. Her recent revelation about who she does not want at her funeral is part of a larger intention: to ensure that the ceremony honors love, joy, and authenticity rather than obligation or pretense. For Hawn, a life spent cultivating meaningful relationships, supporting family, and inspiring generations through her work in film and philanthropy. This moment is about celebrating the connections that have truly mattered. Hawn has long emphasized the importance of surrounding oneself with positivity and integrity. In her career, she has chosen projects, collaborations, and friendships that align with her values, seeking authenticity over appearances. This philosophy extends to her funeral, where she wants the atmosphere to reflect the essence of her life: warmth, laughter, and genuine appreciation for those who have shared her journey. By clarifying who should not attend, she ensures that the ceremony will be a true reflection of her priorities, rather than a gathering dictated by social expectations. Family and close friends are central to Alan's vision. She wishes to celebrate the people who have been her constant support, who have understood her beyond the fame, and who have brought meaningful joy to her life. For her, this is not merely about who is excluded, but about curating a space where love and respect dominate, allowing everyone present to honor her memory sincerely. Alan's focus on this personal choice demonstrates her continued commitment to living intentionally, making decisions guided by conscience and emotional truth rather than public perception. Beyond the guest list, Hawn has also expressed her hopes for how the ceremony itself should reflect her personality and life. She envisions a tribute that is uplifting rather than somber, a celebration of joy, creativity, and the positive impact she has made. Music, stories, and moments of connection will dominate over ritualistic formalities, mirroring her approach to life: lighthearted, heartfelt, and profoundly human. She wants attendees to remember the laughter she brought into their lives, rather than dwell on absence or grief. This also underscores the broader lesson in Alan's approach: the importance of setting boundaries and making personal choices with clarity. Her decision is a reflection of self-respect and emotional intelligence, demonstrating that even in life's final moments, individuals have the power to shape their legacy. By openly discussing her wishes, Hawn provides insight into the priorities that have guided her life and offers inspiration for others to define their own values and boundaries. Ultimately, Goldie Hawn's revelation about her funeral is a testament to her enduring wisdom and self-awareness. It is not an act of exclusion born of malice, but a deliberate step toward creating a meaningful farewell. By prioritizing love, authenticity, and emotional integrity, she ensures that her legacy, both in life and in memory, remains true to who she is. Her choices invite reflection on how we honor ourselves and others, and how the final expressions of our lives can encapsulate the values we have lived by. Goldie Hawn's decision stands as a powerful example of living intentionally, choosing joy and authenticity, and maintaining clarity about what truly matters. At 80, she continues to inspire not only through her career and public persona, but also through her candid approach to personal choices, demonstrating that the way we plan our departures can be as meaningful as the lives we lead.